Peter Newbold is the GM of PGG Wrightson Real Estate. Let's take our monthly look at the rural land market. What is your farm worth? Well, you've already heard from Hayley Gawley from Rabobank in their Agribusiness Outlook report for 2019. Rabobank says a notable exception to the lifeless land market is the land price inflation occurring for grazing properties. Prices have been buoyed by good returns for sheep and beef farming and by dairy farmers looking to become more vertically integrated in the wake of M. bovis. And Rabobank goes on to say they expect to see an increasing area of land switch from dry stock production to forestry. Peter Newbold, let's get your take on this.
Yeah, look, I think there's a lot of truth in what you're saying. We're definitely seeing land use, change of land use taking place. It's not massive, but I think there's a strong trend there. So if you look at forestry, honey, dairy going back to sheep and beef, a little bit of that, vegetables, and then you take the dairies and marginal areas going back to horticulture, there's definitely a quiet trend there, and we're actually seeing it now, and there's quite a few examples coming through where in all those areas you're seeing change of land use, and I don't think it's going to go away, and I think it will gain momentum over the next 12 to 24 months.
I got a really interesting email, Peter, which I forwarded on to you last night, and I want to get your comment on this one. It's about a farming operation, I think I've got this right, called Mana Waimai Station. Now, this was a sheep and beef property, apparently a very good one, carrying 13,500 stock units. It has been sold. It is going to be completely destocked on the 1st of May and planted into Manukau, for Manukau honey. We've seen this before, haven't we, with the eucalypts being planted in southern Southland, the pine trees being planted on the central plateau, and then people have come in and ripped them out and put them back into pasture. Is this a worrying trend?
Look, I don't know, as long as we don't do like we've done in the past where suddenly you go back 30 years and everyone got into kiwi or everyone got into viticulture. I think if it's done in an orderly fashion, then there's no problem with it. And you're going to see, as I said, all these other things changing. So that might be converted to Manuka for honey. But on the other side, you might find a property that's going back to traditional sheep and beef, or it's going into another sort of sector. So I don't think we should be concerned with that. I think it's just part of what goes on, and change takes place all the time. So I think we'll see more of it. It's just what it is.
The interesting one that we spoke to Hayley Gawley about was the fact that improving farm profitability, we've had 3 good seasons in a row, effectively, the primary sector. This improved cash flow has not been used to fuel a further land price escalation. And as Hayley said, farmers are very good at capitalising profits into land value. We're not seeing that. In fact, when it comes to dairy, we're seeing the opposite, Peter.
Yeah, definitely. We're not seeing a lot of movement in that. I still think there's pressure on values, and we're seeing that now. If you're starting to see some of the sales that are taking place, especially in dairy, there has been price reductions. But again, we need to be careful because some areas you don't see the same change. And when there's slow numbers, of course, the values can be distorted. But I think if you're wanting to move forward in certain sectors, you have to be mindful of the value, because the buyers out there are not prepared to overpay. And, that's just where it is at the moment. And I feel that over the next few months we'll see, as sort of buyers and vendors get closer together, I think we'll see some movement forward. Not a lot, but we'll see more, I think, farm sales, and we'll see more in the smaller dairy. I guess we still have a big issue in the large dairy units, which I think is really challenging, where there's no real activity at all at the moment for a whole lot of reasons we know about.
Are there any foreign buyers out there at the moment at all, bearing in mind the changes to the OIO?
Really, no. Most of them have disappeared. I haven't seen, other than I've heard just recently of a couple of big properties that are going into forestry. And that's got offshore interest. But beyond that, it's almost impossible to get it through anyway. So people have sort of backed off. So I'm not aware of any real activity in our business. It's just right away because of all the challenges around it, which in some parts, as you know, I think is the wrong approach.
As always, when we chat to Peter Newbold, we finish with our property of the week. This is an interesting one. This is a growth area. This is horticulture. We've got a golden opportunity in Kerikeri for a kiwi fruit and lemon orchard.
Yeah, look, it's fantastic. It's been interesting lately in Northland. There's been a bit of pressure on and the dairy and values and a bit of negativity, but that Kerikeri area is wonderful. This property is mixed, good area, good opportunities. And, it's a great area. Sometimes we just don't talk about it enough, but there's a lot of opportunities up there in and around, production in the horticulture area.
Peter Newbold, GM of PGG Wrightson Real Estate. Always good to chat to you here on The Country.
Yeah, thanks very much, Jamie, and have a good day.